Hello and welcome to the 2018 Ford Focus RS, one of the best hot hatches you can purchase, if not the best hot hatch you can purchase in Gran Turismo 7. Now this is a very bold statement, but honestly I have to say it's true. When I tested the vehicle out almost a year ago, I was welcomed with incredible acceleration, amazing handling, incredible brakes, and just an overall such a playful driving experience that will just boost your serotonin levels. It's almost like having a puppy because it's so young and playful and it just wants to be all over the place and it just makes you happy to drive. And considering the fact that this vehicle only costs under 50,000 credits, sorry to be exact, 41,000 credits from Brand Central, which means you can purchase it whenever you want, there's absolutely no reason for you not to experience the Ford Focus RS. And in my opinion, this is actually the best Ford you can purchase in Gran Turismo. Yes, that is a very bold statement because considering the fact that we have the Ford GTs, we have Mustangs, we even have the Ford Raptor, the Ford Focus RS, which really isn't a sought after Ford in the game. That's a very bold statement and I'm gonna stick by it because once I jumped in now, I got such a rush. I mean, I drove the car last a year ago and honestly I don't know why I stopped driving it. The acceleration of this vehicle, because standard it has 355 brake horsepower, but with some upgradings in Gran Turismo 7 we bring that figure up to almost 580 brake horsepower. So that is nothing to actually look down on. 572 brake horsepower going to all four wheels in a vehicle that weighs 1152 kgs is just a recipe for a good time. So when it comes to the vehicle's all-wheel drive system, the minute you slap on a torque vectoring differential, you are gonna change your driving experience. So with doing that, you can send the power to either 50-50, either half the power going to the front and half the going to the back. This way the car is like almost in complete track mode. Even when you want to come drifting and you want to turn into Ken Block, rest in peace, you can do that. Drive this vehicle with absolutely no traction control on and have the torque differential being 50-50. You are gonna send so much smoke into the air, climate change is gonna get even worse. But honestly, it is just such a fun vehicle because it can do so much that the other Fords can't. If you wanna go off-roading, the Focus can. If you wanna do a quarter mile time, the Focus can. If you wanna do top speed runs, the Focus can. If you want to just do anything that you can think of in the Ford Focus RS, well, you can. And what's even crazier is that now with update 1.34, you can even engine swap the Ford Focus RS. Now this is a bit of a scary thing because with the Ford Focus RS, when it's fully upgraded, being at such a high standard in my book, I really don't know what to expect when it comes to engine swapping the Ford Focus. Now, it's not a bad engine swap because when we head on over to GT Auto, we actually see that the engine swap, yes, it costs 700,000 credits, so it's not the cheapest engine swap out there, but it's a really good one because we're actually gonna swap it from with a Ford GT V8 out of the LM test car. So a classic Ford GT motor in a modern Ford Focus RS. Basically, the power level is gonna jump up drastically. We see that immediately we get a bump up of 8 brake horsepower compared to the standard engine. Now, you may be thinking, wow, 700,000 for 8 brake horsepower. No. Because with us adding this engine, we can still head on over to the tuning shop and we can add a high RPM supercharger, which will then bump up that power figure to 789 brake horsepower in a Ford Focus RS. Now this is always my concern when it comes to engine swaps, is the vehicle gonna be able to handle this much more power? Now, some vehicles are designed with a threshold, and once you engine swap it, well, all performance really goes out the window. Yes, you have 1,000 horsepower, but if you can't put it down to the ground, it is utterly useless. But that is not the case with the Ford Focus RS. Actually, it takes the 700, almost 800 brake horsepower with absolute ease. So when it comes to driving a vehicle with no traction control on and having your differential set to about 30-70, well, you see that the car takes corners incredibly well, but if you do push it, the rear end will step out, so you get a very almost drifty Ford Focus RS. But the minute you want to become serious, this is really a night and day difference compared to standard RS to now having an engine swap. It is so incredibly fast that you'll actually see yourself possibly setting some lap records. Now, in the last video, I actually went over the Mazda 3, which received the engine swap from the Mazda 787B. And if I'm going to be honest with you, this engine swap really just blows it out the water. There was something about the Mazda 3. Yes, it has all-wheel drive, it's a hot hatch. The Mazda 3 and the Ford Focus are on the same level, they're on the same playing field. But there's just something with the way the Ford actually just gives its energy, the way it just handles itself, that the Mazda 3 doesn't. The Mazda 3 is a bit more serious, and for some reason it feels a lot slower. And if we actually compare lap times, I was able to set a 1 minute 33 around Kyoto Driving Park in the Mazda 3, but in the Ford Focus I was setting just under 1 minute 32 second lap times. And the Mazda has more power, it is heavier, but the Ford Focus less than 200 horsepower compared to a Mazda 3 engine swap. The Ford Focus really doesn't show it. It doesn't come across on screen. So I'm gonna have to remove the title of the ultimate hot hatch from the Mazda 3, and we're gonna give it to the Ford Focus RS, because the RS really, it's gonna change your life. And considering the fact that it really just left such a lasting experience on me, and that was in its standard form, I urge you, if you haven't tested out the Ford Focus RS yet, please do. As I said, it's only 41,000 credits. That's chump change if you complete the Gran Turismo 7, and even in the early days of the game, it is still incredibly affordable. So if you have the money to actually upgrade it and just purchase a vehicle, even in its stock form, once you pick up from Grand Central, it's not that slow of a vehicle. So don't look past the Ford Focus RS, because you might be missing out on full-on gold. So with that being said, I hope you guys do going to enjoy this video, because I know I enjoyed making it. Don't forget, leave a like and subscribe for more Gran Turismo 7 content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.